for those of you somewhere outside Middle Tennessee, we have not slept in hours and hours and hours because, I mean, it started about this time yesterday in parts of Middle Tennessee, and it raged all day and all night long with spring thunderstorms. Kelly Sutton and flooding everywhere, ponding of water. So the commute was actually a little better this morning. It had a chance to recede some. So we are great. Well, first of all, we're thankful that everybody is safe, everybody on the crew is safe, and hopefully you are too if you're in Middle Tennessee and watching, and wherever you're watching around the world. Wait till the water comes down and come visit us in Nashville.
That's right. And I mentioned this morning, you know, Tennessee, we are really, really good about jumping in and helping each other. So if people are interested, I know there are going to be cleanup efforts that are underway. People start posting, you know, if you want to make a donation, if you live out of town to help some of these people. A few people lost their homes in Columbia, which is south of us, because a tornado went through there. We had a lot happening north of us in Gallatin, even Bowling Green in Kentucky.
Hendersonville.
So when we get more information about how people can help out and it's vetted and we know that they are legitimate places, we'll let you know about that, because I know that's always the helpless feeling. Like, what do? I don't live there. I can't come help clear away brush and trees.
And one of the issues north of the city is they got all this rain and storm and flooding action yesterday throughout the morning.
Yeah.
We didn't get it in the city. And so this is just additional, like an additional 5 to 7 inches. And it may have rained about that much yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Rebecca got home. I showed you some pictures on my phone of the river behind the South Fork of the Red River. And it was just extraordinary. And then I had a doctor's appointment in Gallatin yesterday. So 2 o'clock or so, I start back. And when I get to White House on my way home, all I got was tornado warning. And a text popped up on the phone from my wife. And they were in the bathroom. And I was under the canopy at the Speedway.
Well,
that's what I like.
That's right.
If you got to be somewhere.
I rushed right into the face of danger to help.
Oh, man. Yeah, Paul was driving home from St. Louis, and he was wedged in between. And I'm like, it's all around you. He said when he got to Paducah, it was really bad. It was rough. So glad everybody is safe this morning.
Well, tonight at the Opry, very special night, a tribute night to Johnny Paycheck.
Oh, fun.
And his son is on the lineup. John Paycheck will be performing in honor of his father. Of course, the Gatlins are there as Larry hosts. Chris Jansen, Jamie Johnson, Georgette Jones, William Michael Morgan, or Michael, as we now call him because of an introduction he once got and shared with us on the air.
That's great.
Guy forgot his name, just called him Michael. And Jesse will be there, Jesse Keith Whitley, to pay tribute to Johnny Paycheck.
That's so fun. Hey, I have some friends that were here Tuesday night for the Opry, and they are from Newfoundland, and they are going to be there tonight.
Newfoundland.
They
will correct you.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if it was land or lend or found.
Newfoundland. The emphasis is on Newfoundland.
Yes. Come From Away, one of my favorite musicals, and we sat and talked about that. But they're going to be there tonight.
And they call themselves Newfies.
They're in the Maritime provinces, right? They're Atlantic time. They're an hour. They're an hour ahead of Eastern time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Nova Scotia and all that. It's beautiful over there. Yep.
Well, coming up in just a little bit, I don't know if this is good timing, poor timing, strange timing, but we did find out Luke Combs is on the Twisters soundtrack.
It's musician standard timing.
It really is.
What it is.
We just had all these Twisters, and then he's on the Twisters soundtrack. So we're going to talk about that. Jelly Roll completed the 5K. Congrats to him. Details on how that went for him, and new music from Mitchell Timpin.
And I got a great Johnny Paycheck story about hosting a show, introducing him one night, what took place just before we walked on stage. Charlie loves this story.
Is show business at its best.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And that is the last of the full-grown men joining us on Coffee, Country, and Cody for his 70th birthday celebration, which has now become a series of live performances that start a week out from your actual birthday on May 19th. Webb Wilder is here.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. You know, you can bless or blame my agent, Nancy Lewis-Pagel. It was her idea to do these birthday shows because I'm sure she's always thinking of how can we get people to the shows, you know? And I thought, but do we really want to wave a flag and say, yippee, I'm 70?
Why not?
But hey, you know, as we all know, what's the alternative,
That's
right?
That's right. That's exactly
So on, let's see, we start on the 11th, Riverside Revival,
Yes, sir.
which is just a couple of days away. and it's a part of Webb's 70th birthday, the series, as we call the event series, at Riverside Drive here in Nashville. And then on Thursday the 16th, he will be in Columbus, Ohio at Natalie's Grandview.
Fantastic place.
18th, that's George Strait's birthday, the day before yours.
Yep.
Fitzgerald's Nightclub, that is on Roosevelt Road in Berwyn, Illinois. And then you actually celebrate your birthday on your birthday at the Southgate House Revival Sanctuary, and that's on East 6th in Newport, Kentucky, across the river from Cincinnati.
Yeah, and Fitzgerald's you might as well call Chicago too. Yeah, but so we really look forward to all the shows here too. Riverside Revival is a great venue, and yeah, you know my actual birthday is same as Pete Townsend, so I'm sure I'll get the call. You know. I mean, W in the Who, W in Webb Wilder. I mean, I got 2 W's. I trumped that, you know.
So take me back to 1954 on the 19th of May, Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
My mother, Esco Wally McMurray.
Esco?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
It's not a made-up name either. You know,
How's it spelled?
ESCO.
Okay.
In the novel Cold Mountain, they name-check a man named Esco. It's an old thing in the South some kind of way, and there was a mechanic across the river that had a big sign, Esco Simmons Auto Repair. And here's what's really wild. You know, I looked at her family origins. It's pretty much English, you know. My dad's is like Scots-Irish, you know. Esco is a Finnish name. I don't think there are any Finns in the Deep South.
Ranger Doug.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. We talked about this last time, didn't we?
I don't
Ranger
know,
Doug.
but I think Ranger Doug is the one that comes to mind.
Well, how about that?
So
the Finnish cowboy. Who knew?
That's awesome.
The idol of America.
But anyway, so yeah, she gave birth to me. God bless her. And my dad, you know, who was also Webb, and was involved. And 1954, you know, it's the year Elvis went on the hayride. It's the year of the Stratocaster. It's the year they changed the beautiful grill that had been in existence for years on the GMC and Chevrolet pickup trucks, but they kept the cool body style. And if you got a chrome one, you're cooking, you know. And I don't know what. And the Les Paul was not quite developed to its fullest yet. They had corrected the non-intonatable tailpiece, but we didn't have the PAF pickups till '57. What else happened? The Telecasters were still right. They still had the black pick guards.
Who do you share your birthday with?
Pete Townsend, Dusty Hill, Phil Rudd, Joey Ramone, Grace Jones. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry. There are a lot of them.
Shooter Jennings, I saw earlier.
Yeah. Oh, there. I'm proud of that. Yeah. Boy, he's producing a lot of records.
He sure is.
Yeah.
He is making it happen in Los Angeles.
By the way, I looked this up. This is interesting. You know, so Jackie Jackson, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, founding member, Jackson 5, along, you know, Brother Michael and many others. His real name was Sigmund Esco Jackson. So there's an Esco in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It lurks in the South, really, and that's interesting. Yeah.
So life in Hattiesburg as a kid, what did your parents do, and when did you come to music?
My father really is a hero to me because he's one of those guys that wasn't just in the Army in World War II. He really fought the Nazis, you know, and God bless him, but France, Italy, Germany, the whole time.
Wow.
And so he gets out like all those guys did, and they say, here's a drink. Get over it, you know, and they did not talk about it. And he met my mother, who was a country girl who had bettered herself. They met at a boarding house, which is almost a thing of the past now, you know. And I don't know that his dream in life, I know his dream in life was not to be a furniture store operator, but he took what life handed him, you know, and his brothers, he was the youngest, had gone into the furniture business. And I guess Hattiesburg was kind of an up-and-coming town, college town. And he wasn't from there. He was from originally outside of Meridian, kind of grew up in New Orleans, and had the family scattered between the two. And they had a successful mom and pop. They worked hard to have it, you know, a furniture store. And so when I grew up, you know, in the tiny little mid-century modern house in suburbia, and I had all the spoiled privileges they never had, you know, TV dinners and television and Mattel toys and no Depression, no World War II, you know. And, you know, my friends' parents usually around the neighborhood were college professors from the North. And, you know, because they were at USM. And we were like, not really walking distance to USM, but almost.
That's University of Southern Mississippi, for people who don't know. It's in Hattiesburg.
So it was all that, you know. No air conditioning in the hottest part of the country, in the schools, you know. And Mrs. Hemmeter's kindergarten. I liked kindergarten, and that was it. I didn't like school that much. I felt imprisoned. Kindergarten, you get off at noon.
Oh,
Cool. Learn how to read. That's great.
You take a nap as
Yeah.
well. So you would have been 2 when Elvis was on the Ed Sullivan Show. But what were the Beatles like?
Fourth grade
for a
impact
kid?
was huge.
Yeah.
And my recollection is that I was the only kid in the fourth grade who was already into music and had albums. I had Rick Nelson's Million Sellers from Sears, and Elvis Presley had happened at the World's Fair.
So the Opry, was it a part of your life?
Not yet.
Up to that point?
No, not yet. But at some point early on, and the Beatles' impact was seismic, you know. But at some point early on, I started watching the syndicated country shows. And that was a huge thing. You know, Dolly was on Porter every week. And Buck Trent is my favorite, you know, banjo player. And, you know, of course, Loretta was on the Wilburn Brothers. And Bill Anderson, you know, had Jan Howard every week. And Flatt and Scruggs with their special guests. And so, yeah, that's really where I got my country influences. And most of my influences was television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that whole run on Saturday afternoon in a lot of markets started with the Wilburns, and then it was Porter, and you know, just right on down the line. Stu Phillips had a show. Bill Anderson had a show.
I saw Bill's
and
show.
They all fell right in line. And then later on, when Hee Haw was born, that became the prime time viewing of the night. The others were just lead-ins, adjacencies, if you will, to Hee Haw's airing.
The Everly Brothers had a short-lived, summer replacement show or something. They had some, and it was cool.
Yeah. Now that you say it, it comes back to me.
Love the Everly Brothers. You know, we lived near a Gibson's discount center, and I went over there one time and I was flipping through the records, and you could get an album for like $3.67, you know, and it was the Everly Brothers sing great country hits, and I love that album to this day, and I mean, you have the greatest voices of all time in sibling harmony singing some of the greatest country songs of all time with Nashville session men. It's kind of hard to lose there, you know.
And their dad was one of the great guitarists ever, Ike Everly.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Don said if he'd let me play left-handed, I might have been great too. But I think Don was left-handed, and his dad, I don't know about Phil, but made him play right-handed.
There is video somewhere of the Johnny Cash show where Johnny tells Mother Maybelle to play something. And I forget what the song was, but it was something pretty intricate.
Wildwood Flower?
And...
maybe.
And I think she chorded and he played the guitar, maybe, or she played the guitar and Ike chorded, and it's kind of sitting in a living room setting. It was masterful, and it was just off the cuff.
Well, you know, that thumb style guitar that Merle Travis and Chet Atkins took to the moon comes from that little part of Kentucky, which is western. Ironically,
Brownie was their hometown.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, Deke Dickerson did this great book on Merle Travis. Ike Everly and a guy named Mose Rager
Mose Rager
influenced Merle Travis. So Merle Travis admitted he wasn't the genesis of that thumb-style guitar.
That's Webb Wilder, and he's kicking off this birthday series in Nashville, Tennessee, his hometown. How many years you been in Nashville?
Since 1982.
All right. And he does it on Saturday, this Saturday at Riverside Revival. He'd love for you to be a part of his birthday celebration. And among the folks who are going to be on the tour with you?
Well, they aren't on the tour, which they're just on this one show, which makes that very special.
Oh, okay.
I've got some very special guests, guys that I've known for years and admired their work for years. We have Jason Ringenberg, who we were talking about earlier, Jason and the Scorchers, Farmer Jason. He was kind enough to ask me to be on some of the Farmer Jason records and videos several years ago. Foster and Lloyd, who your country audience should remember. And, of course, that Bill Lloyd and Radney Foster have both gone on to have great solo careers and occasionally unite. And so that's a rare, special thing. They'll be there. And Kevin Gordon, who I think, pound for pound, is one of the greatest singer-songwriters in Americana today.
Well, that's high praise from a guy who knows. Webb Wilder's here celebrating his birthday with us, and he'd love to celebrate it with you. He's got a series of 4 shows to celebrate his birthday, and you can find out more. Just go to webbwilder.com, and it's all there. But it starts in Nashville Saturday night, Riverside Revival. And again, your guests will be
Foster and Lloyd, Jason Ringenberg, and Kevin Gordon.
I have not been to Riverside Revival. Sounds like an old church.
Well, it's a repurposed church, you know, and WMOT's been doing a lot of events there, and it gets better and better all the time. And I'm remiss that I don't even know all the 411. A lot of times they have food. I should know if there's going to be food at my show or not, and we're working on finding out. And but I mean, it's great, you know. And so they have a great backstage area. They have a great stage. They have plenty of room, seating, and it's quite a facility, you know. And I think you'll be hearing a lot more about it as time goes on. They've got a good staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
A lot of those old churches, the acoustics are just great, and they're naturally good. You know, that's the cool part about
Right,
those.
and they're super good for acoustic music, and they've been kind of softening it up for electric music a little bit more with some of those panels and things. So it's I say it's a work in progress, but actually I haven't been there in a month or two, so I think they've probably made even more headway. It's nice either way.
Yeah.
It's a very nice place.
You've played the Ryman at some point in your career.
I haven't, and that would be a bucket list thing.
Oh, wow. Because I remember talking to Vince Gill one time, and he said that's the beauty of the Ryman, that it can take anything you give it. You know, it's best with a certain kind, but it can take anything. Well,
it sounds great. It doesn't, and that's interesting that Vince would say that. I don't think it loves electric guitar, quite honestly. But it can be fun. In fact, I was there this week to hear the Hermanos Gutierrez guys. And even though they don't have a full band, it's 2 electric guitars with lots of effects and it sounded great. You know, so there you go.
When Webb Wilder turned 8 years old in 1962, a birthday salute to United States President John F. Kennedy took place at Madison Square Garden. The highlight? Marilyn Monroe singing Happy Birthday. When you were 9, the New York Post Sunday magazine published Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. And when you were 17, we went to Mars. Mars probe program Mars 2 is launched, but this time it was the Soviets. Say, if you can, we can too.
When I was 17, I quit high school and went to college, where I later graduated.
No.
How
did that work?
I would kind of say I'm a high school dropout, and I am technically, but I don't want to give young people the wrong idea about what they should do with their life.
Kelly's daughter Reese could be listening. She's 15.
Yeah, she's looking for any reason just to quit and join the circus and Broadway. That's all she wants to do is sing and dance.
If she's tired of high school, maybe she could go to college early. That's what I did, and I'm no genius, you know.
So how did you pull that off?
Encourage.
Well, I don't know if it was a Mississippi thing or not, but I took all those college entrance exams, the SAT, the ACT, and all those things in the 11th grade, and got the scores back. And my friend Jimmy Daniels made a perfect score on the ACT.
No way.
A perfect score is 36. Okay, I made a 25 because my math score was 17. Brought it down. But if you made above like a 23 or higher, you could skip the 12th grade. With how many, some other thing about high school credits, I can't remember.
Oh, no.
So if Reese is listening this morning.
She's not. She's at school.
New York.
No.
New York.
No.
Everybody sing. Big fun with Webb Wilder. Always, but especially, we're going to start summer early just because of you this morning.
Good
We'll make
deal.
that the anthem, all right?
Post-traumatic stress is a human condition. It doesn't just happen to veterans. It happens to people when they go through stressful situations. And if I can get through the things that I've gone through, losing a limb and overcoming depression and thoughts of suicide and substance abuse and everything else, you can do it. And that's why I feel like it's important for me to continue to tell my story and share what Wounded Warrior Project has helped me accomplish in my life.
So join WSM and Circle Country. Again, Circle Country, all our streaming platforms are there to link to, or you can just watch at circlecountry.com. They include, of course, Circle Now app. We've got Peacock, Roku, Zumo, Fubo, Tubi, Sling, Redbox, Samsung, Vizio, Smart TVs, long list, or again, simply circlecountry.com. But join WSM and Circle Country on the 21st, May 21st, so a couple of weeks away. And we'll put the spotlight on our friends at the Wounded Warrior Project, WWP. And more information is available at woundedwarriorproject.org. We've gotten to know a lot of wonderful folks as a part of our involvement with Wounded Warrior over the half a decade, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say that we've been doing things with them.
They're amazing. Good organization to work with, for sure.
Well, to show you what a good place Sal is in, Sal Gonzalez, our
Yeah.
friend, he does not resemble the Sal Gonzalez from that promotional announcement they probably
Right.
recorded, a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Because he's in great shape.
I was thinking about it this morning because you know who was very involved toward the end of his life with them was Jerry Reed. And it was 1983, 41 years ago. Kelly, you're headed to the ACMs next week as a National Personality nominee, I might add.
Thank you.
The 18th Academy of Country Music Awards were held on this night, the 9th of May, 1983, hosted by Tammy Wynette, John Schneider, and Jerry Reed.
Oh, wow.
What a cool lineup of hosts, huh?
You know what's really funny? We just talked to Reba, and this will be her 17th time hosting the ACM Awards. The very first time John Schneider was hosting with her. The very first time she hosted.
Alabama Entertainer of the Year. Top female vocalist was Sylvia.
Oh.
You got the Sylvia catalog, don't you? Yeah. Nobody called today.
Love it.
Top Kelly goes into that
I
anytime
love
we play.
it.
Knows every single note. Top male vocalist was Ronnie Millsap. New female vocalist, Karen Brooks. New male vocalist, Michael Martin Murphy. All these folks have been frequent guests on the show through the years. And the top vocal duet went to, anyone? 1983.
Kenny and Dolly?
You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma.
Oh.
David Frizzell and Shelley West.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Some great memories there as we get into your entertainment update.
Yeah. Well, Jelly Roll, congratulations. He did it. He said 5K by May. He was actually really inspired by a couple comedians. Bert Kreischer was one of them. They were talking about doing this 5K in May. And Jelly said, you know what? I'm there. Now, just to put it into perspective, Jelly couldn't walk a mile when he agreed to do this. So he had to overcome a lot because a 5K is like 3.1 miles that you're going to be doing.
And he's lost how much weight, did you say?
Between 50 and 75 pounds.
Wow. Good for him.
I think he said 70 at one point, but then he said, I don't know, it's between 50 and 70 somewhere. So, yeah, he did it. It was in Pasadena, California. And actually, when I talked to him, he was a guest on our podcast. He said, you know, what I didn't realize was I was going to be out there, fly home, and then have to fly back to actually do the race. So it was one of those fly in, do the race, then get on a plane and fly back again. So that's even more that adds to it. You know, it's not just doing the whole walking thing.
I got to believe walking in Pasadena would be the best.
For sure.
You think they walk the Rose Parade route or something on Colorado Boulevard?
Listen, just being out there for Stagecoach, I get it.
Woo.
I say that every year. I'm
What a
like,
city.
I get it. It's gorgeous. But I have to tell you this really cool story. So a friend of ours, her name is Mary, and she is also a morning personality. So I believe she's probably at work right now. Hopefully she's doing her job well. But she is on 106. It's the big 106. And it is based right there outside of Pasadena. So I think it's Desert City is the name of it. But she's on the big 106. And she interviewed Jelly at Stagecoach. And she basically told him, you know what? By watching him agree to do the 5K by May, it motivated me to get my rear in gear and lose the baby weight. He invited me to walk with him. So she woke up and walked that 5K with him. She said she's lost 27 pounds. And
her name again?
Her name is Mary, but she's On Air Mare is what she goes
I love it.
by on Instagram. So she sent that to me and she said, look at this picture. I'm like, look at this picture. Can I share it? So congrats, Mare. You killed it. Way to go, On Air Mare. 106, the big 106. And the call letters are KPLM for everybody.
Tommy and Mary in the morning.
Is it Tommy and Mary?
Yeah,
in the morning?
they're on 6 to 9. So let's see, it's a 7 o'clock right there. Yeah, they're
Is she
in
awake
their
right
first
now?
hour of the show.
Good morning,
Morning,
y'all.
Mary.
We love you, and we're so proud of you. That was amazing. Yeah, if you need somebody to motivate you, it's going to be Jelly Roll. He'll get you going for sure. Luke Combs has a song in a new movie. I don't know if the timing is really great or really terrible because we just had tornadoes that rolled through here yesterday, and now we find out Luke Combs actually does have a song on the soundtrack for the movie Twisters. So it all kind of fits together. I mean,
Attitude.
It's good, isn't it?
Good tornado attitude. That's what we're looking
love
for.
It.
Yeah.
Well, and he's releasing it to country radio. It's not just a part of the soundtrack. It's his next single. So there you go.
Did you see where Toby Keith's getting an honorary doctorate, a posthumous honorary doctorate from University of Oklahoma?
Oh, that's so great.
I saw that story. Oh, by the way, Mayor, on air with Mayor, out in California. Born and raised in Southern California, spent most of her adult life traveling to new destinations with her husband and her 2 daughters. Mary loves God, America, and country music.
Coffee, country, and Cody.
Today's hidden microphone is just across the way from me on the console there. And we now pick up the conversation with Kelly Sutton and our special guest, Lily Rose, because it's much more interesting than anything I could come up with. You guys have not stopped talking.
I don't get to see her very
since
often.
you walked in the
I
door.
miss her. I miss her. I literally have not seen her in a minute.
And she was telling a story before you walked in. You said you miss her. You once were her.
Yeah, you filled in for me when I got sick, remember? At
my
Nissan
gosh.
Stadium.
I did. That was 2 CMA Fest ago.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I was cool. I mean,
It was
being on that stage and interviewing too was dope.
This was like one of those, we're so excited. Amber Anderson and I are going to host Nissan Stadium, and they do a COVID test, and I'm not even kidding. 24 hours beforehand, they come
Unclean!
over, come and tag me, and they're like, "Hey, you, we need you over here." And then they looked at me and they went, "Go home." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And you're sick. I said,
worst.
"I know. We have a good idea. We're just going to call and see if she's available." And you killed it.
I think we were actually in Myrtle Beach. We had to play like Thursday, Friday at CMA Fest. We even did Nissan on Friday.
Yeah.
Got on the bus that night, played in Myrtle Beach on Saturday.
Yes.
And we had just gotten off stage, and I was having fun in Myrtle Beach. Let's just say that. And my manager called me and was like, "So you're gonna host at Nissan tomorrow because Kelly's sick." I'm like, all right, I'm going to stop drinking. That's for sure. And we got back to Nashville. We found an outfit and we did the thing.
Great.
It was
so
bittersweet,
good.
though, because I knew how badly you wanted to do it.
I
But
loved watching y'all.
happy
though.
to fill in always.
You're great.
What was it like hosting, being in that role? Had you done anything like that before?
I haven't done anything, necessarily like that, but I grew up with a dad who's emceed so many things, and I've just watched how it's done, and I think I have it in my blood a little bit. So I really enjoy doing that stuff.
Georgia Radio Hall of Fame, her dad, right?
Yep. Yep, he's a legend. So good old Hondo. So
And your dad's name?
yeah, Neil Williamson. Hondo is his radio nickname. But yeah, he's on the radio for the Dogs and down in Atlanta and does the thing, which is fun.
Lily Rose on her way to the Grand Ole Opry. And speaking of getting sick, this is a make good because you got sick when you were supposed to debut a while back.
I think so. Yeah, we've definitely been patient with our Opry debut. That's for sure. I worked at the mall across the street.
Stop it. You did not.
For the first 4.5 years I lived here.
That's
I
Opry
was-
Mills for
Opry
people who
Mills
don't know.
Mall.
Was it Lids? Or where did you
No,
work?
I was at Under Armour, American Eagle, and Aerie, and I was stocking shelves overnight or working the 5 to 10 a.m. shift so I could write during the day, just trying to get a publishing deal. And I always promised myself I'm never going to step foot in the Opry until I get booked. And so when Villain really, really popped off in 2020, Opry was calling, and I was just like, I just don't think I have the right things to say for country music yet. And this is so important to me when I step in that circle that everything that I say, every syllable, every second of these songs is intentional for country music. And with this new EP coming out tonight, it finally feels that way. So that's why we've waited this long, and I'm excited to step in the circle.
A lot of family and friends going to be there Saturday.
Ton of family and friends. Excuse me. I've been blown away of just the amount of family and friends that are flying in and surprising us and driving in. So it's going to be cool.
New EP you referenced is running out of time, and you said tonight, and it threw me because I always think of tomorrow.
I know, right?
But at midnight tonight, it is tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's the drop for the EP with how many songs on there?
There's 6 songs. So
Okay.
we've got 2 of them out right now, Parking Lot and True North, and another 4 tacked on tonight.
Charlie, you missed the opportunity, so here's your chance.
I know Mike Terry will be there Saturday.
Little dress
sometimes we
rehearsal.
all do Saturdays, but I think the introduction should simply go Grand Ole Opry, go Dogs, Lily Rose. I mean, what more does one need to say? I mean,
it's
that kind
just-
of covers it all.
You need nothing else.
If
It's
Mark
just the
Wills
Dogs.
were there, he would do the intro for me. 'Cause that's how
very
good he
true.
is.
Tell that funny story about the Atlanta airport and Go Dogs.
Oh yeah, I was just telling them. So we all live here in Nashville, and as an artist, you travel a ton. So when I'm in Seattle or Vegas or something, I see somebody with Georgia Bulldog stuff. I'm like, yo, go Dogs! So I kind of forgot that my stop on my connection the other day was in Atlanta, and I'm walking through it. It's like every other person has Georgia gear on. I'm like, go Dogs! Oh man, go Dogs! And I said it for the 3rd time, and everyone was like, why are you so hype about this? You're in Atlanta. Oh yeah.
Whoops.
Ding.
If I do this, I'm going to do this all day.
I never posted on TikTok, but I made a selfie video. I was like, I'm a moron.
In addition to your new EP coming out tomorrow, again, Running Out of Time is the name, and Lily Rose is here playing tonight, 7 o'clock, Cannery Ballroom, but Cannery Hall, and then CMA Fest, Ascend Amphitheater June 7th. That's a great venue for CMA Fest.
Stoked.
That puts you on the map, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a bucket list. We haven't gotten to do that one yet. So getting to do Riverfront and Ascend is always, what a stacked thing. I used to go as a fan.
You've already been over there at Nissan, so you scoped it out.
Scoped it out.
And then later, when you step on the second time, you're gonna be like, I've done this.
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
No big deal.
Yeah.
You are on the road constantly. So what is it like to know you've got a hometown show, you're gonna be here, and you've got the Opry? It's kind of like you get to settle in this weekend and really enjoy and celebrate, and also sleep in your own bed.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely key. Just being home brings a lot of peace, and it's been great. But it's just cool to watch so many people in my life that are traveling into town. I'm just so grateful, and I've seen crazy amounts of fans tagging me that they're driving 9 hours, 11 hours. So it's kind of like we're going to get all of the super fans from all the cities in one room together. They're all meeting for the first time, and it's going to be a really special night.
You said something about going to see shows at Ascend. It is an interesting point in someone's career where you get paid to do the things you used to pay to do. 100%. And that's a pretty cool plateau to hit right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we got to play Bridgestone in March with Sam Hunt and Brett Young, that was one of the most shell shocked that I've been in my career of walking in for sound check, at 2:00, and we're in different arenas every night. We're like, oh, it's another arena, and you walk in, you're like, dang, this is not another arena. I've paid to see shows here. I've seen countless shows, hockey games. So, anytime you get to do that, it's humbling.
Yeah, you see the Preds banners, it hits home, right?
Yeah, big time.
Did you not open for Shania at some point?
I did, yeah, this past fall. So we did 13 shows with Shania, which was, she's an icon. It was like a fever dream.
Did you get to know her well enough for her to mentor you and give you advice?
Yeah, it was so kind. Everyone that I've been out with, Sam, Shania, Luke Bryan, everyone's such a help the next one in line. And Shania invited me up to do Party for Two every night. So
oh, really?
I call myself Lily Currington. I was
because it was Billy who did it originally. For those of you who don't know,
and every single night, she was just so kind and would talk about me to the crowd, and then off mic would sit there and talk. Sometimes I was like, Shania, we've been talking for 2 minutes off mic. You have 15,000 people here.
They're all looking at us.
So, she couldn't have been kinder.
They'll wait. They'll wait.
Wait.
Because it's me.
Yes. And they did.
What did you pick up from touring with all of these people? What have you picked up that you're like, man, I love the way that he did this or she did that, and I want to take just a little snippet of that and put it in my show?
Yeah, right now with us being first of 3 on these major arena amphitheater tours, we have a pretty small, tight-knit unit of just the band and, photographer, maybe front of house here and there. And what I've learned from Sam mainly is he's had his same crew, since the beginning. And he's created a really strong nucleus, not to get scientific, but truly his core. And then it just grew out from here. And I think there's something to say of all the people that we see that are headlining in country music, the arenas, the stadiums, the amphitheaters, they've had their band from the beginning. Miranda, Wallen, Luke Combs, Luke Bryan, there's not a lot of change. And that just shows that it starts from the top as a leader and it's a trickle down.
And not unlike a successful sports franchise when you stop and think
absolutely,
about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a team, and for whatever reason, that team works.
Yep,
and
you want a
stay with
franchise quarterback and everything. It's absolutely that.
You have a dynasty as a result.
Absolutely.
Well, there's the Patriots and there's the Bears. One had Tom Brady, one's had 38 quarterbacks, right?
100%.
So, Garth, another good example. A lot of those guys have been with him forever.
I mean, the list goes on. You truly, if you looked, I bet you 90% of the headlining arena, that level A-list artists in country music, they've had their band since they were doing, first of 3 30-minute sets, which is something to be said of being a good person and winning in country music. So learned a lot from Sam.
Well, we go from arenas and stadiums to the parking lot here. That's what we're going to feel.
Let's go.
Give us the backstory on this song, and then we'll
speaking of amphitheaters, when I was a kid in Atlanta, what we would do was we would all hop on MARTA or pack a bunch of teenagers into cars and try to get our hands on cases of beer, and we'd go down to the amphitheater and we would just tailgate before the shows. And sometimes we couldn't even afford tickets into the shows. It was just pay $2 for MARTA fee, train down there, and we'd party in the parking lots. And I just realized one day after touring the world and the country and everything, I was like, everyone does the same dumb stuff in parking lots. And we all get our hearts broken and we kiss people and we drink beer. And I was like, how's nobody written this song yet? So we wrote it in 2021, and it's been a long journey of trying to get it cut and, get past the finish line when it comes to the label. And at the beginning of the Sam Hunt tour last summer, I was like, I'm going to ask for forgiveness and not permission. I'm going to just start playing this song. And we did, and we watched it be a really like big turning point with the crowd every night of being like, yo, I feel this. She's dope. I'm in. So it's cool. It's finally out in the world. Can't take it back now. And everybody loves Parking Lot.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And that means more Lily Rose with Kelly Sutton, Charlie Mattos, Billy Boy, and tonight, the 9th, is your immersive live experience. And you were talking about working on things yesterday for tonight. What is that? Tell us more.
Yeah. Whole crew, we've been working hard. I like to do things a little bit differently, if you can't tell. And I think everybody in town does like the EP release show or the album release show or whatever, and we're not on a headlining tour or anything, so I was like, I don't want to do a random show. Let's utilize this new video board at the Cannery Hall that they just revamped, and we're gonna do something real cool for the fans, and once in a lifetime, one night only kind of thing. So it's gonna be great.
That's awesome. How much work goes into a single show like this? Because you were talking about the fact that you have all these videos, and I'm like,
and she turns to her guitar player, and
he's also
they both break out in laughter.
He's also tour manager, production manager, everything. I mean, this dude's probably worked 100 hours on the show.
Introduce him,
and
please.
This is Kevin Smith, Nashville's own, born and raised here, White House kid. But it's been a lot on everybody. A lot of my label, then to my content person, to Kevin, to the venue. So tonight we're all going to have a big exhale when the show is done. But it's going to be so worth it. We really did a dress rehearsal yesterday, and it was tugging on the heartstrings. So it's going to be great.
And the fam's coming.
Yeah.
And the fam's coming.
Yeah.
Fam, friends, team, everybody.
That part at the top where they shoot her out of a cannon.
Oh, that's big.
I love that.
Yes.
And she lands on her feet center stage.
Jazz hands.
Nothing like pirate. Yes.
And takes on a Garth Brooks persona there for just a moment. And her eyes spin around.
I wave like Kenny Chesney.
Yeah. If you could get that Garth Brooks mic, that 1995 Garth Brooks microphone, Britney Spears microphone.
I was going to say, you want to know how you can tell how old somebody is?
Yeah.
And just who they are demographic-wise. If they call it a Garth mic, a Britney mic, or a Hannah Montana mic.
Oh, good.
Like,
well, I was kind of split. I was like,
I would say
it's
Britney
a Britney mic.
because
Yeah.
I'm 30.
Yeah, but he was saying Garth.
Oh,
He'd
no.
say Garth. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, they quit making them. So Garth has set about to buy all he can find, like worldwide.
I think Russell Dickerson's using them now, too.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that fits. That fits. I love him so much.
Oh, RD.
RD party.
And then a Grand Ole Opry debut on Saturday this weekend. See, Mayfest is coming up in June. And then there's Jacksonville, Orange Beach, Milwaukee, Alpharetta, Georgia, back home. Alpharetta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, all on the tour schedule at lilyrosemusic.net. She's a .netter, so remember that if you're logging in, lilyrosemusic.net. And what are you and Kevin going to do for us this morning? First thing you're going to do.
Yeah, we're gonna play a song called True North. It's a song about going home when life gets a little tough and going back to your roots.
So, yeah, speaking of roots, White House, Tennessee, Blue Devil or Patriot? A Heritage Patriot.
Oh.
All right. Robertson County side. That's what I'm talking about. Cool of that Sumner County bunch.
You guys got the New England logo?
Mm-hmm.
We used to. They changed it.
Okay.
Now they got this real funky H, but they used to. They looked exactly like New England.
Yeah.
Boy, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yes. Lily Rose, if you just joined us on Coffee, Country, and Cody, I'm reminded there was a Mike Reed song. Of course, Mike's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame called Call Home. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
No.
And I was thinking about the same theme that you just sang about. And I saw him do it live one night, and he said, home, Robert Frost said it best. Home, it's that place you go where they have to take you in.
They have to. I love that.
That's the best thing.
Yeah.
So thinking about all of we've accomplished in the last couple years, when did it start? When did you know, okay, music is where I'm going to go? And then how did that conversation go with mom and dad?
So I have the most supportive parents in the world. Neither of them play instruments or anything, but I really took a liking to the drums when I was 9. And
that will test how supportive parents are.
I mean, I'm not kidding. I always
Did
say,
y'all have a basement?
I always say if I did not grow up in Atlanta, I don't know if I'd be in this room right now because we had a basement. And
Yeah,
my
there it is.
parents threw the drum set down there. But, they took me to Bruce Springsteen when I was 8 and just so many things. They're such live music people. that when I did the drums and I wanted a guitar and all of that, I always supported it. But when Taylor Swift really started singing about like high school and stuff, when I was in high school, I started writing songs and singing a little bit more. And that's when I knew I wanted to be in music. I have a very administrative personality too, so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be a manager or songwriter or whatever it's going to be. But then when I got to Athens, Georgia, 19 years old, I started doing the Lily Rose thing. So been chasing the artist dream down for about 11 years now, songwriting dream for 15.
That is Lily Rose. I've got a Lily Ruth who's 7 years old.
Oh, yeah?
You guys should meet sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Lilies unite.
Come on.
And so, in closing, The Voice, you were kind of the end of an era with Team Blake, correct?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Talk about a once-in-a-lifetime night. That was wild. So grateful for Diplo for, having me on that song and getting all those opportunities. But we were on the last episode that Blake ever did of The Voice, and Kelly Clarkson threw him a going away goodbye party in the Back to the Future square, like where they shot Back to the Future.
That's so fun.
And I ended up in an Uber with Niall Horan, and it was just like,
What is your life?
it was wild. I danced with Kelly Clarkson and talked way too much to Gwen Stefani and ended up in an Uber with Niall Horan. So I don't think I'll ever have a night like that.
Wow.
But,
What makes you think you talk too much to Gwen? Did you get this look of she's not going to stop talking to me?
Well, she showed up to the party a little late, and
Yeah.
I walked in with Blake, and we were definitely having fun. And Gwen showed up a little late to surprise him, and I was 3 sheets to the wind. I quickly realized, I've gotten to meet like so many like incredible pop women that I've grown up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That when I tell them that I'm like, you're my second concert when I was 12, or like all of that, I've now realized I've seen it in Katy Perry and Gwen Stefani's eyes, where I'm like, okay, I definitely just feel like I dated them and very unintentionally.
Yeah.
I have a filter, except when I drink. Hi, I'm Lily Rose. What's your name?
You don't really realize that you're like, I'm 30, so I feel like old compared to, like some of my friends here in Nashville. And then I say stuff like that where I'm like, oh yeah, I saw, that third tour you ever did, I was 14. And they're like, perfect.
Thanks.
And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm more your generation than the others.
Wrapping it up from America's soggy Music City, USA. Opry tonight, tribute night. Opry Country Classics, the spring finale, Johnny Paycheck music.
Yeah, and we've got tickets tomorrow, another set that you can get. It's Roots and Boots.
Roots and Boots, win them before you can buy them. This is Sammy Kershaw, Colin Ray, and Aaron Tippin, July 31st at the Mother Church. Be here tomorrow. Kids, it's Friday. Come on, let's have fun.